So today we're going to be talking about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Obviously, it comes with a heavy mention of Chadwick Boseman, who passed away. So I just wanted to say rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Inspired many of us. Inspired me many times as a kid with the autobiographical films that he did, 24 and Thurgood Marshall. Always been a pioneer of equal rights within the film industry, and yeah, he will be missed. So getting into Black Panther Wakanda Forever, we immediately open with his funeral. What did you think about that?
Yeah, so that's how I was envisioning it. I was envisioning that being the very first thing that they did, and I'm glad that they started off with that. Um, it's you know vague enough, and obviously they don't show him, and he's not in it at all. Like there's no
Yeah, deep
CGI
faked.
Chadwick. Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
thank
So I
God.
was really happy about that.
That would have been.
Um, yeah, so luckily they didn't do that. Um, yeah, so I mean that's the only way that you could really open the movie in this situation.
Yeah.
So I thought it was handled pretty well. The funeral was visually beautiful.
Oh yeah, the white and
Seeing
dancing.
all the white garb and seeing Wakanda, you know celebrating his life. Um, I thought it was a very nice scene. Um, there's the only issue that I had was like obviously they're not going to say what exactly happened.
They just said an illness.
Right, an unnamed illness, which is not something you want to hear in a film. You want to know why. You want the
Yeah.
audience is always going to ask why. Um, but again, given the situation, I think they handled it as good as they could have. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
I
it was
like
a nice
that.
scene. Good Shuri time. Good time with the mother.
I like that they kind
Um,
of tied this into what Killmonger did, because him destroying all the heart shaped herbs
yes,
eventually resulted in quote unquote
right,
T'Challa's death
right.
thematically.
Yeah, which was a big deal when that was a big problem. Him burning all of the heart shaped herb, and Shuri is trying to recreate it. Um, so yeah, I thought that was effective.
Yeah. I really liked it, and then I liked that eventually um, Queen Ramonda's at like the UN. I loved her speech of like
Yeah,
them whispering that the
that
king
was
is
really cool.
dead, our protector is dead, and
Right.
then literally showing off that no, the Wakandans are not weak. They know exactly
Yeah,
what they need.
that was a really great transition. I thought. Showing the attack on the Wakandan, laboratory. I guess that they had there. I thought that was a really good, transition. Um, yeah, uh, the performance from the Queen was awesome at the UN. They
Yeah,
brought in
Angeline,
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, um, they brought in the I guess the soldiers that had tried to invade just right into the middle of the floor at the UN, which I thought was
Yeah,
cold. It was cold as fuck. And yeah, that was cool too.
yeah. It was funny to see the one guy that was representing the U.S. because he's currently playing. So I've been playing God of War Ragnarok. He's playing Odin in God of War
Oh,
Ragnarok.
really?
So I was like, I immediately turned to D and was like, that guy plays. This is so weird. This man's getting so many roles right now.
Yeah, I definitely recognize that guy. I think he's
he's from
been
The Good Doctor also.
okay. So what happens at what before we?
So after that, um,
Is it just Shuri in
obviously
her lab?
no, we get the confrontation with the Navy SEALs and
Oh,
the
that's right
CIA
after. Okay.
using the vibranium. We get our
Cool.
first look at Namor. Very very shadowy look of him
Yeah,
taking down the helicopter.
that was fucking sick.
That was a fucking sick ass intro.
Yeah,
I love that they have like a siren call.
that was really cool.
I
I
like that.
part of part of what I was worried about going into Namor being introduced into the MCU is how are they going to differentiate him from Aquaman?
Yeah.
And they did so excellently. They did so swimmingly. Haha. And they had the siren song at the beginning, which was really cool. It was really creepy. Lured all the seals off the ship, and then they are instantly just killing people. Like, they're super brutal. They don't care about
this isn't a fight
any
for them.
casualties.
This is just a massacre.
Exactly. And just when you think the last two people are going to survive in the helicopter, Namor, fucking pulls the helicopter out of the sky and fucking chucks it into the ocean.
Yeah.
Which was I was so hype. I was like, Raina, it's Namor, it's Namor.
It was so cool.
I love that. That was so sick. Because I was really happy because they kept the wings on the feet. And so he has the ability of flight in addition to all his other fucking.
And they say that he's a mutant.
Right, and he directly says, "I'm a mutant." So that was cool.
But yeah, no. If you had told me 10 years ago that they would make Namor's wings the coolest part about him, I would have literally called you a fucking liar. But they did it. That shit is so cool, and the way it has like a rattlesnake sound to it. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that shit goes hard.
when he encounters Queen Ramonda and Shuri at the campfire, and they just do that tight shot of his wings, and you just hear the little fluttering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so fucking menacing, and I love the actor for him. I love that, like, while he seems really brash, he's always thinking. Like, you can see it kind of like going in the background, like he's always thinking about his next step, which kind of happens at the end of the film. He's like, I won. He won. He wanted an alliance with the Wakandans. He now has an alliance.
Right.
Which is kind of wild that everything worked out for him. But I like that.
I was really impressed with his performance. I thought he was a very compelling character. It's another great, kind of political commentary, similar to having Killmonger be the villain of the first movie. This is using the, in the comics, the Atlanteans as, rewriting them, or reimagining them, I should say, as as a Hispanic community who, doesn't want their presence to be known by the world, because they have their own, perfect version of their society. So it's a really cool, kind of societal commentary, like saying, like, these minorities shouldn't be warring with each other. They need to be worrying about the U.S. And that was, I guess, really my only one of my few complaints about the movie was we didn't get a little, more of that, U.S. conflict of the side of things,
Really, I thought that was the weakest part of the movie. To be honest,
that's what I mean. Is we should have had a little more of it just to tie everything together a little bit more.
I feel like
this whole time we find out they bugged Ross's beads, so they know that there's something weird going on, but they don't for sure know that the Atlanteans are real. I just wanted a little bit more of that, but
it could have been condensed also.
Right, but
like,
basically just showing that
out.
these two groups of minorities need to, not war with each other, but worry about the bigger enemy. Which I guess we'll see in the future that there's going to be some issue, with what Julia Louis Dreyfus wants to do with them.
Yeah,
we're seeing so much of her now, man.
Yeah. It just felt very forced. Her character being in the movie, it was like a big.
Is she supposed to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. director now? I don't understand.
No, so she's supposed to be. She's going to be in charge of Thunderbolts.
Right, but why is she in charge?
She's the
Ross?
director of CIA, basically.
Oh, she's a CIA director. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's no more S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right,
there's
I was
only
confused what she was director
only
of.
Sword. Is Sword? No. What was it? I think it was
Sword's
Sword.
not official. I mean, but Fury is up there.
But yeah, no. It just felt like a giant sore spot because it was like, oh yes, remember this is in the MCU. Don't forget this is in the MCU. Please don't forget it. It was like, oh, please just let us like be in the moment.
They're really trying
without.
to build her up, but I think it's important to show that. I just think it could have been handled a little bit better.
It,
Like I think it's important to show that there's going to be a conflict. You know, the U.S. is always looking out for themselves, and they're always worried about, showing how they're like worried about the Wakandans being like a threat, and like how they want their vibranium for themselves and all that stuff. I just
being
thought that
in
was
one
cool.
scene would have done her way more than being in multiple, in my opinion. Giving less of her,
Yeah,
but like making it like really concise. Like, let's say she shows up at Ross's house. Like, you cut to like, she hasn't appeared in the entire film, and she shows up at Ross's house,
yeah, yeah.
and then she's like, she has that convo with him.
Right.
Like, that would hold way more impact. Where you'd
Yeah.
be like, oh, even when she's not there, she's paying attention.
Right.
Instead of it being like,
That's a good
haha,
point.
ex-wife moment. Like,
Yeah, that was a little goofy.
I literally turned to D and was like, oh, she pulled out the handcuffs, but not the kinky kind.
Yeah. So that was a little odd, but I feel like they could have dealt with that a little bit better. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love the designs of the Telecon. I
yeah,
think that's how it's pronounced.
that was really cool.
I still got to get used to saying that instead of Atlanteans.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that their skin is blue outside of water, but as soon as they're inside deep pressure water, their skin turns normal. Because honestly, that's really cool. Because it scientifically would make sense. The pressure would then make their blood flow easier, therefore making them less blue.
Right. I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I like that Namor takes oxygen from both the water on his skin and the air. Like a combo of both. I loved the culture. I feel like we could have spent a little bit more time in the city. Like if they had shortened the U.S. and like really made it concise, and then spent more time within the city, because like we got so much of Wakanda in the first film. While of course I wanted time in Wakanda, that's fair. And I think we did get a good amount of time in Wakanda. I feel like we could have explored more about the city. Like maybe give like a couple more minutes of Shuri and Namor just exploring the city. Maybe they experience like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say an opera, but like, I don't know, some performance of some kind.
Sure. Sure.
Like
Yeah.
maybe like I'm just gonna say it, Atlantean instruments.
Yeah.
Instead of I was gonna say telecom instruments. But yeah, like have something like that just to show like the life, maybe a school, maybe like have Shuri like, I don't know. It could have been a little bit more.
Sure.
But I really did love Namor. I loved his backstory. I loved the way they adapted him.
Yeah.
What did you think about Riri?
Riri was cool. I thought that she was folded into the story very naturally. I don't think she was shoehorned in. I thought it was a clever idea to have her be, the scientist that built the vibranium detector. She built it for a school project, right? And then the CIA just bought it
Took
off
it.
of her.
They didn't even buy it. They just straight up took it.
Oh, they just took it, yeah.
Yeah, without her knowledge.
Right.
Which sounds exactly like something the CIA would do.
Yeah. So I thought that was good. And yeah, I thought she was well written. She had good parts comedy and good parts, intelligence and confidence. And her suits were really awesome.
I didn't really like the second suit, to be
No.
honest. I thought it was a little bit too bulky. Like the shapes weren't really doing it for me.
Okay.
But then again, I think it's hard to put a distinct style on Riri just because she's so fairly new and she's barely gotten. Unlike Tony, she doesn't have the amount of redesigns or armors as Tony does.
Right.
Not even close.
In the comics, she maybe has like 3 total.
Yeah, exactly. She has her first one, then she has the Invincible Iron Man one, and then she has Ironheart.
Yeah.
Which has been the one that she's been wearing since.
Right.
But hopefully they slim down her suit because it felt a little bit too bulky.
Yeah. I think they have a lot of options of what to do with her suit next.
Yeah.
The Mark 1 was like, not too crazy. I thought that was good.
They could have cut the college dorm scene a little bit too. That could have shaved off some time.
I thought that was funny.
It was funny, but
I saw it on Monday night at the same Cinemark,
oh, but
and the theater was packed. I was
yeah,
not expecting it to be so packed for a Monday night. So I got, you get the audience reactions out of stuff, and people, really enjoyed just the comedy of that scene. Because I think there's not a ton of brevity in the movie,
no,
honestly.
definitely
So,
not.
I thought that I liked the dorm scene and the escape scene from the garage. I thought was cool.
That was sick.
Um,
I love the fight scenes in this movie. They have so
got
much
gotta
impact.
gotta shout out all the fight scenes. Just so amazing. The choreography. We're dealing with underwater fights, and the Wakandan Dora Milaje combat, of course, and just a lot of different stuff.
Yeah,
I thought it was beautifully handled.
I love the fight between I always forget her
Okoye,
name. Okoye, yes. I
Okoye, and
loved her
Atuma.
fight. I love that Queen Ramonda just ripped into her, being like under your watch. Literally,
Yeah,
3 of my family members have either gone missing or died.
yeah,
Like you have failed me, and it was like, damn.
yeah. That was brutal.
It was very brutal.
But the fight between Okoye and Atuma, the audience was reacting. It's okay. The audience was like audibly reacting to the Atuma Okoye fight.
The armbar,
Exactly. Dude,
the armbar was
you
brutal,
you heard a ooh in the audience when that happened.
bro.
It was really
That
funny.
and when Shuri got stabbed with the spear,
Yeah, that.
bro. I was not expecting Shuri to get stabbed by Namor in that moment. I was expecting the hero speech, like Wakanda is superior to you. Like you guys should join or something like that,
Yeah.
and then just immediately gets speared, and I was like, oh,
Just showing,
oh.
just showing how like brutal and powerful he is. Yeah, it was a sick. All the fights were amazing.
I loved how much it took to get Namor down. Like, not only did they have to dehydrate them, not only did she have to rip off a wing, she then had to explode something. Like, it was just so much to take him down. He was just a
Yeah.
walking fucking tank.
Yeah, it was great.
And technically, he still didn't even die.
He was chilling. He was
Yeah.
fine after.
I feel like he could have actually like survived Shuri. Like he would have been able to kick Shuri off if he actually believed Shuri was going to kill him.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think they showed how much Shuri had to do to take him down, and I
Yeah.
thought that was effective. But I did think for a minute that she was gonna kill him. But I'm so glad. I gotta say, almost every MCU movie kills the villain at the end.
Yeah.
I was so happy to not see that for once. I gotta
Yeah.
say.
Same. I was so
Because
happy.
this is an important new character that I'd like to have in the future MCU.
And I love the
I would love to
reason
make a
for them
list
not
of
killing
all the
him.
villains that they've killed at the end.
I love the reason that they didn't kill him too. Like I love that M'Baku was like, if you kill them, that isn't killing their king. That's killing their god.
Yeah.
Like you will have an eternal war. And it was like, damn, you're right. Fuck.
Yeah. And I thought she was going to be too boneheaded, and she was just going to be like, no, I'm going to do it. I want to kill him. Like, this is what I want. And so I was really happy when she saw the queen.
Especially after
and she
seeing
was-
Killmonger.
Yeah. And being like, show him who you are. So I thought that was really cool.
What up, cuz? I was like, oh my god, Michael B. Jordan just immediately making an entrance with like one line.
Yeah. He was great.
But yeah, no, I love that he was like, you got a little bit of T'Challa, but you also have a little bit of me, and it was like, this is a cool way to distinguish that Shuri's like both, in like a unique way. Like she has a little bit of evil inside of her, but
Right.
she can harness it for good.
In general, I would say, is it a little too soon to have Shuri be the Black Panther in an ideal situation? Yes, but I thought they fit a lot of character development in the movie for her, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What did you think about the ending? of Nakia revealing that T'Challa had a son.
Yeah, I was kind of conflicted about that. I think it's it's sweet, um, but it felt a little weird to me, just because I don't know if that's something that they had already discussed with Chadwick. Like, you know what I mean? It feels like a little like
Apparently, the script was written and then they had to rewrite it. I don't think this was supposed to be part of it.
okay. I don't know. I just felt a little weird about it. I think it's cute, but like I just felt a little odd.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just me.
Also, I will say I was talking to one of the guys at the comic book shop, and we were discussing how the entire time I was watching the movie, I couldn't get it out of my head that this Shuri was an anti-vaxxer.
No, literally, I
It,
kept saying that to Raina.
I was like, my head just wouldn't let me forget and get in the moment at times.
Yeah.
Because she'd be doing science stuff, and in my head, like a little devil on my shoulder would be like, she doesn't believe in COVID. And
Exactly.
I was like,
and I was surprised that her performance was so good. I was surprised, based on how many delays that they had shooting.
well, it's
stuff
because of
she
her
didn't want to
too.
get vaccinated. That's
At
what
least
I mean.
a majority of them.
That's what I mean. So I don't know how they pulled it off. I don't. Did she ever get vaccinated? Did we even know? Did they ever say?
I mean, she must have at some point. Let me see.
Because I that was the one thing I never looked up. I forgot her name.
Letitia Wright.
Oh right. Yeah. That was the one thing that definitely did get me out of the.
She has still not addressed COVID vaccine questions. Apparently she did get COVID.
Oh, well. Maybe that was enough that they just were like, okay, fine, we'll finish
No, this was 8
movie.
days ago.
What, she just got COVID?
Yeah, apparently so.
Dana put it really well to me. She said, while it's unfortunate that, a lot of black people haven't gotten the vaccine, I understand that they have a distrust of, the U.S., medical system.
Tuskegee
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
that is true.
That's the unfortunate reality of it. So I can only imagine that that's kind of her rationale.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But
that's an unfortunate situation.
Now my question is for you. Would you want the next movie to be her as Black Panther, or the new T'Challa aged up, or someone else entirely? Would you want each movie to be a different Black Panther? Or would you want the kid to be
like low key? I wouldn't mind a James Bond
low
style.
Loki to be Black Panther? Would that be blackface?
Loki, I wouldn't mind if they did like a James Bond style thing and they just cast a new person every movie to play Black Panther. I think that could be a really cool,
way to get an
analogy to show the black experience and show different heroes of black culture. But I just don't see them keeping Shuri on for a whole nother project. Unless the money's
her story
there.
arc felt done at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
It didn't. It felt so concise that I legitimately can't see where else this goes. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, they went 75% of the movie without needing a Black Panther, which I thought was cool. It was like Wakanda is still, a strong nation, and I thought that was a really cool idea. But then at the end, she was like, exactly. They were like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a heart-shaped herb now, and become the next Black Panther." I just felt like it was like very much placed at the end.
Yeah.
And I guess it was like the gearing up for the final battle kind of sequence thing, but it definitely wasn't the main thing of the movie. You know what I mean?
I like that she didn't fight. Not to be mean to Letitia, right? But like, not that her character could beat M'Baku in a straight up brawl fest. I'm sorry, but she would get lifted and dead weighted easily by M'Baku.
What was that, by the way? At the last at the end there.
So
Why did
M'Baku,
he just showed up?
M'Baku took the throne. So because being Black Panther
did.
doesn't mean that you're king,
Right.
as we know. So Lachisa or Shuri's character was in Haiti,
Right.
and she obviously was like, I don't care about being a leader. I'll just be Black Panther, and that's it. So when M'Baku went, he had no opponents challenging him. But my thought was also like, even if Shuri was there, because the thing is, the battle has to be without the heart-shaped herb. Without the heart-shaped herb, I'm sorry, but Shuri's getting like Batman Bane broken back levels. like if T'Challa had difficulty with him. Not to say that like Shuri isn't a capable fighter, but she's not that great of a fighter without tech or the heart-shaped herb.
Exactly.
Like,
it's just that's not her. That's not her forte.
Exactly. She would just be dead on arrival. Yeah. She would get thrown off the waterfall.
I was a little confused because that was like such a quick sequence.
It was very quick. It was a tad
just like,
too quick.
hi, like.
They could have at least shown him like sitting on the throne. That would have like at least like
right or something.
Like just a cut to him sitting on the throne, and literally that would have like been like, oh, he's king now. Yeah. Instead of it being like, I want to challenge for the throne, and it showed like a couple of his people smiling, and that's it. Like, it was a little bit too fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this movie was pretty good. I hope the next one moves away from Shuri. I hope that we get a new Black Panther, or we deal with T'Challa's son. Maybe it could be him growing and learning about Wakanda. Maybe he's never been to Wakanda. He's like 18 now, and he's like going in for the first time.
Yeah.
But that also wouldn't make sense time dilation wise. So I don't know.
Well, you know, what Nakia was saying about like not raising him
with the
in
pressure
Wakanda,
of the throne.
Yeah, with the pressure of the throne, right? All that. I think that's a cool idea, and now makes him even more similar to Killmonger.
Exactly what I was thinking. Like, give him a Killmonger like upbringing, but then bring him to the T'Challa level of intelligence and etc.
Right.
By learning about being a king.
Yeah.
It could be a really cool way, especially if they develop that character and then have all the other characters support him. But yeah, no, I would be cool with that. I just don't think Shuri. Like I said, it was a complete story. I don't see where else they could take Shuri's story.
Yeah.
Unless she just straight up becomes a villain, which I highly doubt.
Right.
Like that's the only real next logical step she could take is she embraces the Killmonger darkness.
Right.
Other than that, there wouldn't really be a conflict for her because it'd just be, there's a new bad guy.
Right.
Kind of Black Panther this thing.
Right, and it's hard to see her story going anywhere else, and every Black Panther movie now has felt like it had a deep-rooted, political / societal message, and was an amazing action film, was visually amazing, set designs amazing, all that stuff. So it's hard to envision another, another version of that again.
Exactly.
But yeah. I mean, if we do see another Black Panther movie, it'll probably be a ways out. So,
I like to say this, and this is my final concise thoughts. I thought Black Panther 1 is the superior movie, but I think that the final act for this movie is better than the final act than the first movie. While I didn't like the ship part that much, the fight between Namor and Shuri was amazing, and I love that. So, yeah. What do you prefer, the first film or this film? Just curious.
I mean, I think it's hard to beat the first film. I literally saw the first Black Panther like 7 or 8 times in theaters that year when it was out. That's how much I love that movie. It's just so solid, and there's no fluff. There's no wasted time. It's like
Yeah.
it's point to point, just excellent. So yeah, I mean, if I had to say, I guess I'd say, I have to say the first one. It's just, so cohesive. But I thought, like you put it before, like this was, I think, the best that they could do with what they had to deal with. The one thing I was kind of surprised of is having Queen Amrata die. I wasn't expecting them to kill another big character in the same movie.
I was not expecting that too, because that makes sure literally her mom, her dad, and her brother died.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, this is...
I guess they were trying to build up the trauma for her character quickly.
I don't know.
It felt
like
a little much, but...
Yeah, I feel like they could have easily like put Queen Ramana in like a coma or something like that. Straight up killing her.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's in a coma and like you have to make the herb. There you go. You have to make the herb to save her.
Right.
And that would have been literally like, oh, I didn't save T'Challa, but now I can save my mother with the herb.
Right.
I just made a...
Yeah. So I thought that was a little heavy-handed to kill her as well. Yeah. But overall...
Also, the UN politics now are fucked now that she's gone.
Yeah, literally.
Like, now they're going to have to deal with M'Baku, who's just going to be like, politics? What politics?
Yeah, fuck you.
Fight me! Yeah. He just challenges one of the chairmen to the floor.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought it was overall visually stunning. Action-wise, amazing. And really enjoyable film. And I was happy to see Namor on screen. And thought he was really compelling. So yeah, overall...
good film.
I'd give it, high marks.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been our review of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys can tell us in the comments below what you guys think, whether or not you liked the film, disliked it, what scenes was your favorite, what scene was the quote-unquote worst to you. And like, subscribe, support your local comic shop, and read comics. See ya.